they are talking about people with disabilities. So it should be intentional also to make sure that we have the data for ethnic minorities, to know that this district we have this number of this. And if you are talking about how many are they, how many women, how many children, so that because we need to know how many children coming from there.
Empower them. We currently have a vulnerable group management plan. It is through this plan that we are supporting different communities. If I can give some of the examples, currently we have supported the Batwa around Bwindi and Gahinga conservation areas. We have developed and profiled medicinal plants.
But we said now let's go full swing. Now as we talk now, we are actually revising or reforming the primary school curriculum to have clear competence-based so that we don't pump things into these learners. That's where we have found out many of these vulnerable learners are going out without anything. How do you pump me with the political science, chemistry, and at the end of the day I'm going to become a Gadema? So that's why we are saying we are seriously reforming the curriculum, and if you go into the details, if I had the time, I will tell you why we go into that curriculum and
the process which was done. But now of the minerals, at most I was telling you when the rain is hitting, it hits everyone. But we don't know where these minorities are with the minerals. We know the minerals are there, we know the minorities are there. But this is great.
Thank you.
Program. Number one, there's no disaggregated data, concrete data on the indigenous peoples. Apart from, we need to do a thorough research on who they are, where they are, by male, female, that category. That will inform our, even the constitutional review we are thinking about.
That they are mapping where are the ethnic minorities, what kind of resources are there, because they are linking it to the National Development Plan and the ATMs. So what can their contribution be if they are supported very well and they contribute to the productivity and revenue generation of this country? So this is basically the work for the Minister, the Opportunities Commission is doing. And anybody who says that the work we are doing is not money generating.
Identify what skills that we can tap into. Education is one good thing, but of late it is not about now knowing English and the numbers. Of late it is about the skills and the innovations you can maneuver around to manufacture money. Nothing else. So let us concentrate on that particular area. It is not difficult for us to ask for a skilling center in particular areas. And even for mature people, not only the young girls can be included in the tailoring here in Kampala. But for you, blacksmith, if you are in areas where we know that there was minerals, we can be included there. We are now attracting our investors. Now, in these investors, we can say, include, and I actually want to bring that matter in cabinet, that on the boards, the Wildlife Authority Board, an indigenous person must be there because this is an interested party. What are we tapping from that indigenous person is that he has a contemporary knowledge, that indigenous knowledge of maneuvering within the forest to ensure that the lion does not bite or the snake do not bite. I don't know what they do to the snakes, but the snakes can sleep when the tourists are passing by. He knows how many animals to track and where they are located. So that we cannot wait to tap into that indigenous knowledge. And those are the skills we're thinking about. So let us identify where we are relevant. I think the time for lamenting should end. We concentrate on our capacities. We build onto those capacities and we bring it to the table of discussion and negotiation for government to listen to us. So I want to take this opportunity to thank the job well done. The Equal Opportunities Commission has done a fundamental job to open our lenses and eyes where some of these areas were quite difficult for us to see. they have been able to open the eyes, and they now can visibly see them. Where problems are, we translate them into opportunities. Call people, the indigenous communities or minorities. In this case, I think minorities will work. And it will be very helpful for Uganda, because in Africa, I've just been from New York, the minorities, the other side, are LGBTQ people. And for us, I told them in Uganda, that definition does not apply. For us, the minorities are the Twa communities, are the Tepe. I even said Benet, I did not know they had another scientific name which I've just learned from here. For us, those are the minorities. For you, your minorities are different, and you don't have to impose your minorities to us because we already have enough of them under our own terms. So I think it will help us now to define who our minorities in Uganda, so that the idea of blackmailing us for excluding minorities is out. We say our minorities in this definition constitute the following who are in the different places and for these particular reasons. So we have to speak to ourselves the truth. The evolution has occurred. A number of things will work out, others may not work out. If you ask me to speak in Chifumbira, I would really strong. Yourselves who have taken your children to school, even at home, you're speaking English. Isn't that a fact? Culture evolves. Things change. They will never remain static. How the Red Indians disappeared from America. Right now, they begin looking for them. They have started looking for them. And people go to pay to look for a Red Indian. They're in different communities. Government gave them some special facilities. They don't even want to work because government overpowered them with a lot of special facilities without working. There are beers there, they place beers very cheaply. They place everything there in luxury. So they are in a paradise. Right now, UNESCO already quoted that 9 of our indigenous communities' languages are disappearing. And that's a fact. But to me, it is development. I have no problem with it. Even if at some point you call me a Uganda, I will not care. For as long as Uganda defines me as a Ugandan, I will not have a problem with it. Because where does it alter me? Where does it change me? For as long as I can communicate, understand, inculcate my values into my children, and if there are any positive things that I had within me and my tribe, we inculcate them in our children, we move on. So I'm not saying it is wrong to develop your languages. I'm only saying it is quite difficult. We might want it, even teaching it, but it is quite difficult. So we shall not continue talking about it today, tomorrow, the other day, the other day, the other day, the other day. How many teachers are we going to develop that are going to read, to teach these children? If the schools themselves are also not what? Not there. Ebisoboka byekolaki yenteekako amaanyi ebitasoboka ntandika mpola. Election data speaks. It is the data that will help us to win this matter. Let us go with numbers. We don't have to convoke the numbers, even if we are 10. Let us make sure that we know the 10 that are in different areas and what they can contribute to the economy. So that we can negotiate on how to compensate for the time they have been in that environment where we were not working or where they will not access the resources they should have accessed, like every other taxpayer, every other Ugandan who is legitimate to access. So to express appreciation to the Commission for its continued commitment to advancing equality and addressing structural barriers that prevent certain groups from fully participating in Uganda's development processes. Research initiatives such as this that we have launched today plays an essential role in strengthening our collective understanding of the realities faced by marginalized communities and in guiding the formulation of response policies and programs. That is the policy I've just shared with you that we need to evolve. Distinguished guests, Uganda is a nation endowed with remarkable cultural diversity. We have actually 65 indigenous communities now out of the 3 that first set foot in Uganda as main streams of the indigenous communities. The heritage that brings us together contributes to the social fabric of our country. This diversity is a source of strength and pride, and it forms an integral part of the national identity. However, as we celebrate this diversity, we must acknowledge that not all communities experience development in the same way. Some groups, particularly ethnic minorities, continue to face systemic barriers that limit their access to essential services and opportunities. The Ministry of Gender, which takes up the minority communities under the Culture Department, is meant to grow culture, gender responsible development, in order to enhance the quality of life of all Ugandans. They were really getting very good services. So that's why we are now talking about mindset change. Mindset change requires us to think about things positively. Those that really are adding value, we concentrate on them and continue with them. And mindset change, the representative of National Planning Authority, they had a bit below that component of mindset change, but it's the most critical one. Because people are going to continue doing things in their traditional way, they're not going to add value. I'm one person who believes that buying a horse for citizens is enslaving them further. I don't think anybody with the desire to dig will fail to get the hope of his own. If you miss a part, then you are not going to be to leadership. That is how we lost. Some of us remind the leaders and churches, things changed a long time ago. Those who went to look for people in the bars, in the shops, what, they are here. Isn't it, my brother?
Meaning you should drink all the what I see and put it down. Every sub-county, so I got so much concern. I said, however much I also am a minority, but a certain tribe is also getting fused with other things. So every trading center is too sunny. We drink what I see and put it down.
Now you can see the vision. Their vision is too sunny. Finish every alcohol. Tugasanyewo kind of. Now Tugasanyewo would require people also to open bars so that they can put the product, which is the other people are going to Kusanyawo. Now, who's going to remind in those local communities in the villages? It is the elderly people, and more male than females. How will they handle life without women? They are the ones who are depending on for digging and producing food. So unless we have plan B, which is now mechanizing, such that one person stands in the garden of about 20 acres, does everything in it, plows, harvests, puts in the store, that is when the villages will be more attractive again, but also easier to live in. I will spend more time than I should have done, that I should have spent. But we need to find a game changer. In all this we have discussed, there is one solution. We need to find that particular one solution and go for it. On many occasions, when we chase many things, we don't get any. But can we chase that one specific thing and join our efforts to it and achieve it? Is it achievable? We go to every office and knock to every door. And that one should be a solution. It should not be something for lamenting. We have lamented about all the problems and completed them. But once we find or realize that this is where we can bargain from, we'll be able to make it. Let me give you an analysis of what in this meeting. We concentrate on that particular area. Whether you're from Kisoro, whether you're a tour, whether you're what, we all face the same challenges according to the results and data that we formed. Find one thing that we can do and conclude it. You can even have a small group which synthesizes the information, and good enough, you already have the data which has spoken volumes, But from that, let us create a program that solves our problem entirely. We identified the spaces, we can meet the Prime Minister and discuss the matter and present it to Cabinet so that it is passed and this problem is sorted out once and for all. For the issue of numbers, no one can lie that we don't have numbers. We did the census. Were you asleep or awake? And all of you registered your names and your indigenous communities where you come from, your tribes were not missed. So no one can lie that you do not have. Even if you don't have the code, let the code give us the numbers of your people, the code we shall fight for it and create it.